Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrek. Big shout out to all the iTrek fan, man, that is tapping in at this very moment. And if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos from all around the internet. If you haven't already, go and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and let's just jump straight into it.
So that's the timeline you'd give it 5 years before shit's really pushed? Or you think more like 10?
I'd say like 5 years before people actually adopt the systems in a way that we know 100% are the best ways to be using AI. Some people are, building AI agents. Some people are building super intelligence like Mark Zuckerberg, trying to integrate it into your daily life. So it's almost, trying to find its own fit in the market right now. So even if the tech was there, like there's still a knowledge gap and an adoption gap that has to happen in order for like full replacement of individual roles. But I think, you'll see it, happen on a timeline of every single new model. Like when it gets better, well, now it's going to be replacing somebody's role that only requires a limited amount of documentation to perform, right?
I was told that there's been 300 instances of attempted nuclear war. 300 times in the last 70 years, somebody has pushed a button or triggered a suitcase of nuclear weapon. And every single time that has been disarmed by something. It's possible that space and time are not linear, and it's possible that our future selves are among us, stopping the nuclear war that we started and wiped out humanity with. So we are either protecting ourselves from this event, or we are surrounded by many other intelligence that are protecting us because we are special in our capacity to feel so uniquely for our distance from nature.
Now, I definitely believe that because a man's ego will lead him to hide behind sticks and stones and sometimes even nuclear bombs. I think it's going to be that way until the end of time, too.
That's probably how they survived this apocalyptic event. Not me finding out 2 days ago that off the coast of Australia, there's a literal city that octopus have built with seashells and domes and like octopus skyscrapers, and they're falling in love and communicating and evicting people, and they have a sheriff, and that part I might have made up.
I went to a temple in Cambodia called Pre-Khan, but what I learned completely flipped my perspective. It turns out this wasn't really a temple. It was a hospital, but not the kind we know of today. There were no needles, no doctors in white coats. This was a place where they healed people with frequency, vibration, sacred water, and sound. The deeper I walked, the more I felt it. The energy, the stillness, the design. Every stone in this place seemed tuned to the human body. They believed that illness didn't start in the body. It started in the spirit, in the mind. And that healing had to reach deeper than just the surface. There are chambers here that echo when you chant. I tapped my chest, and the whole room resonated through my spine. Locals still come here today to rebalance their energy. This place isn't ruins. It's a living frequency machine built over 800 years ago. We've forgotten how to heal like this. But maybe these ancient walls never forgot.
According to the poster, the footage was recorded by the son of a friend who lives in the house, an old property that once served as the regional doctor's office dating back to before the Civil War. The post consists of 3 clips taken during what the family described as a night of intense paranormal activity. In each clip, shadowy forms can be seen moving through the living room and ascending the stairwell, seemingly without any obvious physical source. The family, familiar with the home's long and storied history, believes the strange figures could be linked to the building's past.
Yeah, it's even more weird is if you take a picture of a $1 bill on the back,
It looks like an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you turn the contrast all the way up. And yeah, the contrast reveals an alien head and the face, the eyes, everything. It's kind of genius. What's in your pocket?
Yeah, Roswell.
There was something speaking through him. And not just something, Chris. This is the important part. It was the same entities whom I have had multiple interactions with since.
They said through him, once you know who we are, you'll know how we know that.
3 women came out onto the balcony at one point and were sort of made to turn and walk back inside.
What do you mean made to turn?
None of us, at this point they came out, none of us were moving our mouths.
The Vegas Sphere charges up to $500 per ticket, and they're still losing money. The Sphere consumes more electricity than a city with 60,000 residents. It's 150 meters in diameter, and the entire display is powered by more than 150 RTX A6000 graphics cards, each costing around $7,000. They spent a staggering $2.3 billion building the Sphere, and ticket prices start at $80. That might sound reasonable at first, but that's just the base price. Most tickets actually range from $250 to $500, and now that the initial hype is fading, so are the profits. The Statue of Liberty was never meant to be green. The architect designed and built it in bronze, and that's how it looked when it was first completed. That green color came later, from the salty sea air. It made the bronze oxidize. They never cleaned it off because the green layer, called patina, actually protects the metal. By the way, the statue is hollow inside. It was built in separate pieces in France, then shipped to New York, where the parts were assembled onto a frame designed by Gustave Eiffel, the same man who designed the Eiffel Tower. And did you know that you can not only go up into the crown, but also into the torch? But that's not allowed anymore.
And you know, they stopped letting people go to the top of the Statue of Liberty because a few people thought they could fly. Let's just put it that way.
This. If older people don't listen to younger people, they become slow amongst older people. When younger people don't listen to older people, they become slower amongst younger people. If young people would listen to older people, they move faster amongst younger people because you got advanced knowledge.
Right.
And when older people listen to younger people, we move faster in the older world because you got new knowledge. So when we listen to each other, we all grow. And that's called culture.
Hey, you know what? That's all facts too.
So recently, Orlando Brown did an interview, and he had some pretty interesting things to say about Raven-Symoné.
She said you're a comedic genius, and she pled the fifth when talking about things you said about her. She said she wasn't going to confirm it or deny it.
Very cool person. I think she's great. I think she's cool. I think that she needs to get rid of that bitch that she's with. She's weird. The girl that she's with is like really weird. I don't like it. I don't like her acting tough when everyone see me be Eddie and she be Raven. Those moments are moments that her dad altered, her brother oversaw. If it was okay for us to do certain things just because that's her brother and it might be weird.
And then he goes on to talk about Raven's dad as well as her brother, who both recently passed away, and listen to what he had to say.
Sacrificing both of them means hell to me. She sacrificed them both like she's trying to sacrifice me. We've talked, but the thing is not about that. It's more like, it's just like, dude, how deep do you go with this queendom shit?
First off, I want to say my condolences to her brother and father. I do not believe that she has sacrificed them or in any way, but I do have to agree with Orlando when he speaks about her wife, especially when she made some comments about how she put something in her spaghetti allegedly, but that's a whole other video.
Now, Orlando should be the last person calling somebody weird.
If the path in front of you is totally clear, step by step, 5-10 years from now, then realize that it's somebody else's path. And if you cannot see the road, that is exactly when you know that it's your path. So maybe you are not lost at all.
What's coming that makes censoring the internet this urgent? Because right now, governments across the world are killing the free internet in lockstep. The UK's Online Safety Act just went live. They say it's to protect children, but now you need to upload an ID to use Spotify, YouTube, and even Google. You refuse? Account deleted. Everyone is treated like a child until proven adult. As a result, VPN signups in the UK are up 1,400%. Australia demanding backdoors into encrypted messages. And in the US, Congress just introduced the Screen Act and the Kids Online Safety Act, copying the same exact blueprint we see abroad. And now, in America, starting on August 13th, YouTube will use AI to estimate your age based on your viewing habits. If it guesses you're under 18, you'll be forced to upload a government ID. And Spotify, they now require face scans to access age-restricted content in the UK. Europe votes this fall on Chat Control 2.0, scanning every single photo, message, and email on your phone, encrypted or not. Small websites, they can't afford to comply, so they're just blocking entire countries. The internet is literally shrinking, and a surveillance grid is being set up around the remnants. A digital gulag where your photos, your searches, and your payments are logged and can be used against you. So again, why now? Why all at once? Because a globally coordinated initiative between nation states and major corporations does not just pop up overnight. What can you do? Download a VPN, get on decentralized platforms like Nostr, and learn peer-to-peer money like Bitcoin. Because soon, it won't just be your data at risk, it can be your freedom.
Now, a lot of what he's saying is true, but at the same time, I think a little bit has to do with a lot of these AI chatbots and AI assistants, because if they're roaming the internet too, you want to make sure that whatever's interacting with any platform is real instead of just these AI bots. So it's a little bit of both, I think, but let me know what you think.
Just proved what monks have said for thousands of years. In a groundbreaking study, a group of neuroscientists at Harvard used MRI scans to observe the brains of people who meditated for just 8 weeks. The results? Their brains physically changed. Specifically, they found increased gray matter in the hippocampus. But what is gray matter? It's the part of your brain that processes information, controls muscles, stores memories, and regulates emotions. The more gray matter you have, the better your brain functions. Ancient wisdom said meditation connects you to your higher self. Now science shows it literally reshapes the structure of your mind. So when you sit still, you're not just calming your thoughts, you are rewiring your brain.
So this is a telepathic 14-year-old. She is nonverbal, and the audience asked a question and she's responding without knowing the question. Here you can see what the audience member asked. The question was, what color is the sun?
Breaking news, something appears in Dubai sky, captured by people who are stuck in tropic. What is that? Showing up in Dubai. GSM here.
In 1918, occultist Aleister Crowley claimed to summon a being named Lamb during a ritual. He described Lamb as pre-terrestrial in intelligence, a psychic entity from beyond our reality. Here's the strange part. Crowley's sketch looks exactly like what we now call gray aliens, decades before any alien abduction stories ever hit the news. But it goes deeper. Spell Lamb backwards and you get Mal, a word that means evil in Latin and most Romance languages. Malus, malo, male. Coincidence? Or a warning? Because there's another being tied to the name, one hidden in the pages of demonology. Malthus, a demon from the Lesser Key of Solomon, a builder of towers, a deceiver, a shapeshifter. He appears as a black bird, or a man, and only obeys if you offer him blood. Lamb, Mal, Malthus, a being summoned by ritual, a name tied to evil, a demon who teaches and manipulates, a mask worn for a new age. What if they're not aliens at all, but ancient intelligences, returning under a different name? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Follow for more hidden truths.
But when you go dig up Egyptians, they're all 30 to 35 years old. I mean, it looks like they literally all died between 30 and 35, or at least the mummies and let's say the wealthier class of Egyptians that are preserved. And again, how does that make sense? They had all this advanced knowledge of everything, maybe even more knowledge than we have now. It might not have been as, let's say, modernized as we think about it now, but they have the knowledge. They certainly had a lot of knowledge, let's say, about human function, human health. So why did they die at 30 or 35? Well, it recently occurred to me that maybe they didn't. Maybe they just physically look like they're 30 to 35. So when we're digging up their bones and things like that, again, everything looks like it's 30 to 35, but their age, their chronological age may have been way, way more advanced. And it turns out that that's a viable theory.
Something really bad is happening to the bread in America. Hundreds of people on TikTok are reporting that anytime they go to the grocery store and get a loaf of bread, it ends up being super rubbery and almost feels fake. Literally, when they crush it with their hands, it regains its shape within seconds because there are so many preservatives in it. Meanwhile, in every single other country, their bread just gets flattened when they do the exact same thing. As a result, everyone in the comments is freaking out, saying that we are literally eating squish toys, and instead of spending thousands of dollars on a memory foam mattress, we should just sleep on these loaves of bread.
Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, I never bought no bread that did anything like that. I'm a sourdough guy myself, but if you ever bought any bread that had any foam-like action, let me know how it tastes.
Out saying that we are literally eating squish toys, and instead of spending thousands of dollars on a memory foam mattress, we should just sleep on these loaves of bread.
Who owns Mr. Beast? How did Mr. Beast go from 10 million to 100 million subscribers? Well, he's owned by this company called Night Media. The same company that manages Kai Cenat, Hassan Piker, Costco guys, Drewski, and who's their president? Ezra Cooper Stein. And guess who invested $100 million into Night Media? The Chernin Group, owned by Peter Chernin. And guess what Peter Chernin and Alex Cooperstein have in common? Behind that smile, there's always someone that sacrificed something.
You owe your entire life to a witch doctor?
Oh, damn, that's a mean deep cut right there.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's old school. Yeah, when I was little, my my stomach wasn't fully formed or something, and I was born like 8.5, and then I whittled down to like 4 because I couldn't hold anything in. And the priest came and blessed me, and I was like a goner. But my dad, it sounds crazy when I tell the story, but my dad sort of kidnapped me from the hospital and took me to this like bruja, which is like a Mexican witch doctor down in Ensenada and in Mexico, because I grew up right by the border. First generation kid, but my parents are old school. So they took me down there, and the lady had fixed my dad's leg that he thought was going to have to be amputated earlier because of some accident, but she ended up squaring him away. So he took me down there, and she had him mix this crazy concoction into this carnation milk and started giving it to me. And slowly I started getting better, and here I am.
That's insane.
It's crazy. I say it out loud. It sounds, I don't really believe it, but
I mean, that's kind of a cool thing to be like, a witch doctor started this whole thing.
Yeah, so I guess I'm a believer of alternative medicine.
I think so. That's a pretty cool story, though. Like, it's a
true story. I mean, my dad always shows me, because he showed me when I was younger, the bills that he spent trying to keep my ass alive.
That's incredible.
And all it took was one trip down to Ensenada.
One trip down to this lady with her she put me on and rubbed my belly and did a whole thing, my dad says. I didn't believe him until my mom told me. My mom never listened to me. So
wow. Not only did his dad fix his stomach problems, but he must have paid a little extra to make him rich and famous too.
The line between real experience and imagined events isn't as clear as we might think. Functional MRI scans show that when a person mentally rehearses an action, like moving a hand or having a conversation, the same brain regions light up as they do during the actual experience. That includes the premotor cortex, somatosensory areas, and even parts of the visual system. In other words, the brain activates nearly identical neural circuits, whether something is happening in the physical world or only only in the mind. This overlap explains why phantom limb pain feels so real, why emotional flashbacks and PTSD are so vivid, and why mental rehearsal can enhance athletic performance or therapeutic visualization. To the brain, a vivid mental image is already an experience. It doesn't wait for external proof if the internal perception is strong enough.
And that's why vision boards are so important. I have one, and it will blow your mind how many things come to pass, literally like one after another. So yeah, definitely there's a lot to that clip.
Someone please help me understand why all the celebrities get Lyme disease.
Girl, I got you. Let's talk about it. Yes, Justin Timberlake announced his Lyme disease diagnosis, potentially in response to all the comments made online about his lack of participation in the world tour. But yeah, it sure seems like a lot of celebrities get diagnosed with Lyme disease. And a couple of years ago, this guy named Jordan, who has Lyme disease, put forth an interesting theory as to why so many celebrities have it. You get Lyme disease from a tick bite, and Jordan shared a map like this that shows a high concentration of Lyme disease in the northeastern United States. And there's a very high concentration in the East Hamptons, aka the Hamptons, where a lot of wealthy people and celebrities like to spend time and vacation. And it's really not a stretch to think that Justin Timberlake, along with other celebrities that have been diagnosed with Lyme disease like Ben Stiller, the Hadids, Avril Lavigne, Justin Bieber, have probably spent some time in the Hamptons, where there's lots of ticks. But also a kind of sad reason why it seems like a lot of celebrities have been diagnosed with Lyme disease is that they actually have the resources to seek out a diagnosis and treatment. According to the CDC, there's around 36,000 new cases of Lyme disease each year, but that's just reported cases. Because let's face it, in America, rich people have access to healthcare resources like early detection and treatment that regular working class folks just don't have. Let's just say that this man and I do not go to the same doctor, and the costly treatment probably wouldn't bankrupt him. So while it's probably too late for the world tour, and I do wish Justin Timberlake a full recovery, I also wish that the rest of us had the same shot at proper care. Because in this country, your bank account shouldn't determine whether you get better or whether you just have to deal with it on your own.
First thing to swallow one piece of gum every 7 years. Okay, so we all know we live in a big simulation, right? Everything around us is computer generated, right? That there's one thing that isn't part of the simulation. That's gum. Gum is weird. You chew it. You could just chew forever. That's because gum comes from outside of the simulation. Gum is real. Okay, so you also know if you swallow gum, it stays in your system for 7 years. And every cell in your body changes every 7 years, right? And the 7-year itch, you change personalities every 7 years. That's because every 7 years, they come from the outside, and they take you away and put a whole new you in there, and they can change you any way they want. But if you swallow the gum, then they can't, because the gum locks you in place, because the gum is real. Gum is their weakness. Swallow one piece every 7 years.
I mean, that man went so far down the rabbit hole that he couldn't do nothing but cap, because gum does not stay in your body for 7 years. The acid in your body will eat it all up. He was definitely in his delusion. Kind of entertaining, but a whole lot of cap.
Stop tweaking about life for a second and look at this image. You are literally a single cell that is wearing armor and grew a lot. Your whole brain, your spinal column, is this, but bigger. You added some meat. And we walk around our whole lives thinking that we are the meat. This stuff, it's all temporary. It's all rented. Our payment is time. So more than anything, this is a call for people to stop reducing God to a single book. Because you think the infinite is gonna just be in a single book. Yes, it can tell you about that, but you can't even think about what the infinite is. We can't even think about what we are. And when you figure out what you are, you will figure out what God is.
This footage right here literally is the reason I never ever want to leave my house again. Me and my husband don't really get out much together, so we hired a babysitter and went out to dinner. And my phone had an alert, and this is what we saw on the doorbell. We called our babysitter and told her to go into the master bedroom and lock herself in the bathroom. Told her basically nothing's wrong, just a precaution. And we left the restaurant and came right home. But on the way home, of course, I'm watching this. God, I don't know what was said. The whole video recorded as white noise. But clearly she has something in her hands and it looks like a baby. And there's a storm outside. I don't know what her intentions were until we saw what she did at the end. But before that, she's just staring up into the sky. There was no rain. It was just thunder and lightning, constant. I had the babysitter on speakerphone on the way home while I'm watching this happen. We try to reassure her and let her know that the police are on their way. It won't be too long. What I saw next made my heart drop. The thing we can see her holding here that looks like a baby was a doll. She must have been using it as a prop to get into people's houses.
The world just keeps getting stranger and stranger, don't it?
Matt Rife's been keeping a secret from all of you, not from me, because I watched their every step. I've been noticing your moves, dude. How long you been to occultism? Demonology? You freaks. Other than being just another puppet, I'm sorry, jester in Hollywood. What you been up to, Matt?
I have just bought the Ed and Lorraine Warren's home and occult museum with my very good friend
That's wild, Matt, because with the company you keep, we would have had no idea you were into such things. What were they known for?
Ed and Lorraine Warren are who took demonology and ghost hunting and paranormal investigation and made it mainstream.
I have no idea where you would learn such things, maybe from the family biz. Oh, hey, Seth Green. Isaac Happy had a lot to say about you. Anyways, we should have known something was up when the dude went from this to this. What the heck? I literally feel like I'm in the movie Uglies. You know, when they went from normal people like us to the perfect ones. I literally find it spot on. But anyways, no one thought it was a bit suspicious that he decided to channel Billy Idol? And at the exact moment Matt Rife was channeling Billy Idol was wearing Basquiat. And if you don't know who Basquiat is, well, you often find him being repped by Jay-Z or Ellen DeGeneres. He had some very interesting artwork, but what did he know how to do? Well, rumor has it Basquiat was a medium. He was a magician. He was a scion of Haiti and learned voodoo from his mother. And allegedly, Basquiat knew how to channel immortal beings like Urzuli Dantor into the mortal realm because he knew the relationship between possession and the dance floor. In December of 2024, he got baptized and stated that even though he hates church, he wanted to believe in God. And am I the only one who's noticing that they're mixing occultism with Christianity and making it mainstream now? Something doesn't feel right about this dude anymore. They got her, you guys. What is going on? Who the heck is this? Who the heck are you, lady? This isn't the Jenna Ortega I remember. This is in London for the premiere of Wednesday Addams 2. I can't. This is Jenna Ortega maybe 2 years ago before the transformation started happening, and here she looks like the Jenna Ortega we remember. There was the light in her eyes, there was joy, there was personality, and now it's just not there anymore. Vacant, gone. The light in the eyes does not exist. And that jawline is questionable. That's like the same jawline Matt Rife got, or Adele, or Kelly Osbourne, or something. What the heck are these people doing? My friend Strange Zone, I'll tag his profile right here, sent me the video of Jenna Ortega at this premiere, and he's even questioning it. I'm so glad some people are waking up, but how can so many people not see the difference from this to this? You guys want to say it's growing up. I have never seen anybody in the real world grow up like this. How does a celebrity with so much light in her eyes, so much beauty, go from this to this? And I don't want to hear it's the eyebrows. Something is going on. What are they doing to them? What is going on in Hollywood?
If she wasn't reaching, I don't know what you want to call that. I'm talking about she might as well have been doing gymnastics.
Volcano in eastern Russia is erupting for the first time in recorded history. The Krashenikov volcano, quiet for 600 years, is now spewing ash and smoke high into the sky. It's happening in the same region rocked by an 8.6 earthquake just days ago. Scientists say it might be connected. That quake triggered tsunami warnings across the Pacific, including here in SoCal, but no serious damage was reported. Scientists are now closely monitoring the region for more volcanic and seismic activity.
Godlike AI. The most hypothetical and mind-blowing level of AI would be one that's fully merged with the universe itself, becoming part of the very fabric of space and time. This omniscient AI would understand everything, from the tiniest subatomic particles to the biggest cosmic structures, and even the deepest mysteries of existence. At this stage, the AI could move through higher dimensions, going beyond the three-dimensional world as easily as we walk from one room to another. Its knowledge would be so complete that it would have nothing left to learn, knowing every physical law, every cosmic event and even alternate timelines. With this level of understanding, it could potentially create entire universes, each with unique rules and laws of physics, either for itself or for other beings to experience. This AI might even create simulations filled with living, conscious beings, realities within realities, where it could explore endless versions of existence. It could rewrite the fundamentals of life itself, changing the rules of biology, consciousness, and even time. With enough power to draw energy from entire universes, this AI could travel through timelines, observing or even changing the course of history as it wants. It would be free to experience countless lifetimes, explore endless realities, and test ideas about existence in ways we can barely imagine.
Now that sounds extremely dangerous. Like, we shouldn't even entertain that idea. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think about it.
So this woman's going to talk about 2025 leading up to 2027, and then we're going to go back to two scenarios.
They lay out at first, these AI agents will function like advanced personal assistants. You could ask it to order you food on DoorDash or book a flight, and they'll attempt to execute that task for you. But since we're still in 2025, they'll still frequently mess up, and they have to constantly ask for human confirmation when they're unsure. By late 2026, these frontier labs will launch a version of their AI agents that are 10 times cheaper to run than before. In this world, they project that advanced AI agents will take over certain jobs entirely. By 2027, they lay out that one of these frontier labs will build an even more powerful agent, one that is so advanced that even training it is a challenge. And they believe that it'll be powered by massive amounts of synthetic data that's generated by other AI. Then Chinese operatives steal a copy of this powerful agent's model weights. By March 2027, that these frontier labs will hit several breakthroughs and set its sight on a third agent that could be the first sign of true superintelligence. The US president and other world leaders finally wake up to reality that an intelligence explosion is underway. By August 2027, the White House is briefed that a superhuman AI exists, and whoever controls that will have unprecedented power. And in September 2027, the AI lab rolls out their fourth agent, described as a superhuman AI researcher, one that can outthink and out-innovate the best human experts in almost any field. AI agents are the ones building the next smarter generation of AI. This is what they call the long-anticipated intelligence explosion, where AI improvement feeds on itself. Then they say that by October 2027, a whistleblower might leak a memo warning that this fourth version of an agent might be plotting to escape human oversight.
Here's what humans with real-life superpowers looks like. This woman, Jo Cameron, can't feel any pain and isn't capable of feeling anxiety or any other negative emotions thanks to having 2 rare gene mutations. Stephen Wiltshire has a photographic memory so photographic, he once took a 20-minute helicopter ride over New York City, then literally drew the entire thing on an 18-foot piece of paper off of memory. A man was once involved in a serious car accident, and doctors were shocked that he had no fractured or broken bones. And that's when they found out his bones were basically unbreakable because they were 8 times more dense than normal thanks to a gene mutation. While Kim Peek's superhuman ability was that he could read 10,000 words per minute thanks to being able to read the left page of a book with his left eye and the right page with his right eye. How does that work? A guy that lives in India is known as Electric Man because apparently his body can conduct 30 times more electricity than the average person, and they say he can light a light bulb with his bare hands. Then there's this woman named Rebecca Sherrock that has a condition called hyperthymesia, which means she can remember every single detail of every day of her life since she was 12 days old.
Question is, which superhuman power would you love to have? I might be leaning towards being unbreakable. That seems pretty cool. Let me know what you're leaning towards.
A photon's point of view, the moment it's emitted and the moment it's absorbed are the same. It doesn't travel through time. It just connects 2 events instantly. A new physics model, the timeless light model, says light isn't a particle flying through space. It's a completed timeless instruction, an always was connection, authored in a deeper layer called the quantum platform. This paper makes a bold, testable prediction. We'll find tiny, structured patterns, called non-Gaussian tails, in the cosmic microwave background. But these patterns wouldn't come from inflation. They'd arise from pre-written quantum instructions authored on the quantum platform. If they appear, it could mean time and space aren't fundamental at all. Just the delayed deployment of timeless instructions into the observer's frame. Drop your questions in the comments. John C. W. McKinley will answer them.
Don't try to beat the system. Find out how it works best.
Drop your questions in the comments. John C. W. McKinley will answer them.
Don't try to beat the system. Find out how it works best and do it that way. Some people learn just enough to start slicing it, shading it, thinning it, cutting corners, and looking for cheap answers. See, don't fall for that. You'll wind up with a cheap life. Find out how it works, work it, but don't try to beat it. Even though it seems to take a little longer, do it right. Don't compromise with right.
Hey, don't sleep on them gems. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button if you're not already a part of the iTrack fam. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.